It keeps shaking. The phone keeps shaking. There, while trying to get the button on there. So, um, how to have a more blissful relationship with a life partner. There, how to have a more blissful relationship with a life partner. There, ideally, both would be doing this or have done this prior to becoming life partners there. But it starts with oneself there. And that happens only through getting to know yourself as an individual, infinite being of bliss consciousness, which is done very simply there through immediate, direct experience with yourself as an individual, infinite, overwhelmingly intoxicating, all-knowing, all-powerful being of bliss consciousness there. Very simply, for immediate, direct experience with yourself as an individual, infinite being of bliss consciousness, simply, gently hold your eardrums closed and just listen and just feel the roar and vibration of your own individual personal bliss consciousness. There, just gently hold your eardrums closed and just listen and just feel the roar and vibration of your own individual personal bliss consciousness here, and you will begin to live more and more deeply in your own bliss consciousness there. This is how to have a more blissful relationship with a life partner there. And as I said, ideally, you get to know yourself deeply before finding a life partner there. And ideally, both of you have found yourself through immediate, direct experience of being an individual, infinite being of bliss consciousness there. There, and so part of what I want to get across too is about sex there, making love there. So this is so helpful with that there, because you may have noticed that it's so conditional. So conditional. I myself am worn out by it and have no interest in it. I take care of things. I take care of that myself. There, this is always spontaneously ready. There, and it's a lot of fun, but it's just something fun to do while we're in this body form that we have created with our bliss consciousness and out of our bliss consciousness. These bodies we have created with our bliss consciousness. We alone are the energy and the energy holder molder there, and are the only ones. We are the only one that have created the form we are in and our world. There, we each individual one of us are the energy and the energy holder molder in our life there, and there's nothing wrong with sex there. Nothing wrong with it at all. The only hazard is is falling into thinking it's just the supreme thing and the supreme way to escape tragedies going on in life, or to reward oneself there. There, once you get to know yourself as an individual, infinite being of bliss consciousness, making love be an indescribable experience there. Indescribable there, and the interest in it would diminish there, because as individual infinite beings of bliss consciousness, these forms we have created are just a tiny manifestation of ours there, and we are all powerful and all knowing, and we are everywhere. Each one of us are everywhere. Play with that, ponder that. So in a relationship, not only can we be together, and physically there, and share physical intimacy in a way I think is beyond any human experience that anybody has had there, and to really feel and know being everywhere together, each and every one of us there. We're not, there's not just one glob there that we're one with. Each one of us are an individual infinite being of bliss consciousness that is everywhere. Imagine, feel the complete intimacy of that there. So how to know and live in deeper and deeper bliss consciousness, and have a deeply blissful relationship. Excuse me, lunch was so good. Chicken and quinoa there. So yeah. Ideally, before you have a life partner, there, getting to know yourself through immediate direct experience there, any time of the day, immediate direct experience with yourself as an individual infinite being of bliss consciousness. If you're already in a relationship, you can start on your own. Ideally, if both of you were doing this and getting to know yourself more and more deeply as an individual infinite being of bliss consciousness, and living more and more deeply in bliss consciousness. And your bliss consciousness, you are infinite and everywhere. There's no peak. It's not like you reach a peak of bliss consciousness. It just keeps getting deeper and deeper there. So just with a life partner, and each of you living more and more deeply in bliss consciousness, it's beyond human conception there, which we aren't human there. There is beyond conception of everybody on the planet here. That's why I'm sharing about this day in and day out there. to know yourself more and more deeply as an individual being of bliss consciousness there. You, you simply have no idea about what bliss consciousness is. There, no idea. It has to be personally experienced through direct experience there. So during those times where it's not possible there to be listening, there it's rum, rum, and this you'll mostly be doing internally there. Rum, not rum, 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 but rum. And you see how rum leads you and helps you feel the roar, hear and feel the roar and vibration of your bliss consciousness. That's why it's Ram and not Om. Ram and not Om Namah Shivaya. Ram and not any other mantra. Let's make that perfectly clear there. Ram, not Ram, not Ram, 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 or Ram. It's Ram, so that you can experience and you can listen to and feel the vibration, just like holding your eardrums closed and listening there. So do these all the time. Why? Because you have been flooded with thinking and concepts your whole life there. And when you're not or rum, it's all this other BS going on there. And through rum and you'll start to recognize more and more how painful all these thoughts are, and the agony of past memories, or the agony of hoping for this and wishing for that there. So these two things, Ram internally or externally, Ram, not Om or Om Namah Shivaya or any other mantra there, Ram, and holding your eardrums closed and just listening and feeling the roar and vibration of your own individual bliss consciousness, infinite, all powerful. You'll start to recognize just how powerful you are there by switching from thinking there to and you go, oh my goodness, the freedom, and you'll start loving yourself more and more deeply there and worshiping your own lotus feet there. This is what Jesus, Lord Ram, Lord Shiva, this is what they're all here, each here to tell you about here. They're to help you remember who you are as an individual, infinite being of bliss consciousness there. And through doing this, you will live more and more deeply in your own bliss consciousness, and you will have more and more, you will have your relationships with a life partner or any and everybody else will become more and more blissful. Immediate direct experience anytime.